All right, guys, this is Troy and Dr. Shayne McAnalley trying it again. Man, we've been having some difficulties this morning. Can you hear me, Shayne?
I hear you, sir. You hear me okay?
Yeah, you coming in great. We live now. I mean, because I can see that we on Facebook. We live. Guys, we really, I really apologize for the difficulties we having this morning. Technology. I guess Facebook must have did some updates or something. For some crazy reason, we couldn't get in there, but we're in there now. Guys, I'm coming at you today with my friend, Dr. Shayne McAnalley. We're going to talk a little bit about ways to boost your immune system. Dr. Shayne is a real good friend of mine. We've been working together for the past 3.5 years, but not only that, I actually know him and his family. I've been knowing him and his family for the past 14 years. I'm going to let Dr. Shayne McAnalley tell you a little bit about himself, and then we're going to go into a few ways that you guys can boost your immune system. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Dr. Shayne McAnalley.
All right, Troy. Well, that was quite the adventure, sir. Wow. Anyways, like he said, I am a physician. I did you got to medical school, got my license. But as I was going through medical school, let's say there was a fork in the road. And so I had the choice of, continuing with my initial plan, which was actually to be an anesthesiologist like my uncle, or to go where things were leading me. And what I mean by that is the whole time I was in my medical training, I was bothered by something, and it kept bothering me more and more as time went on. And simply put, it is our mindset's completely wrong. And I'm not saying that medicine is bad. Don't anybody be saying that I said that. It's not what I'm saying. Medicine's wonderful when it's needed. The problem I have is people like to wait till they have every problem in the world and then go see the doctor, or then go try to do something about it. And then when they get there, they want like some kind of magic pill that's just going to fix all their problems instantly. And that's just it's not a good approach. So that's how I came to do what I'm doing now. And that's a couple of different things. One has to do with wound dressings in a much better way than how it's typically done. And then what we're more to talk about here is I'm working with my dad and my family in nutrition. And that's a whole nother story right there. So that's what I'm doing. That's who I am. That's why I do what I do.
All right. So tell us a little bit about, ways that people can boost their immune system, Shayne, especially with what's going on. A lot of people are concerned, don't want to go outside. They're scared of what's going on. What would you suggest that they do? Some ways, to maybe have a stronger immune system?
Well, that question, it's a good question. The answer to that question is pretty much the same answer to almost any question that you ask about anything that has to do with health. And it's this. Here's what you got to do. You got to give your body what it requires. And that's very different than what we do. I mean, if you talk about food, most people think purely calories, and you even read that on the labels on your food right now. It's like, oh, there's this many calories. You go to a restaurant, there's this many calories. Food is so much more than that, way more than that. All the stuff that goes with those calories is just as important, okay? And there's three elements of what your body has to have, okay? One of those that everybody thinks is the hardest, and I'm here to tell you it is not, it's probably the easiest, is exercise. And that one more or less is a choice. You have to do more than what you do as best you can. I mean, that's the easiest way to say it. If you sit around all the time, get up. Well, that's more exercise than what you were doing. Walk around. Go walk around the house. Walk around the neighborhood. Like when this whole COVID thing started, it was kind of nice because there's people all over the neighborhood walking. There's a bunch of trails around our house, and we'd see people all over them all the time. Great thing to do. Awesome thing to do. I wish they'd get back out there and start doing it again. They've all kind of slowed down. The second thing has to do with getting your mind right. One of the things you talk about a lot, Troy, you're always promoting, I don't know if self-help is the right phrase, but you're always promoting various self-help books, how to get your mind right, leadership, stuff like that. Very important. And I'm going to boil it down a little bit lower, and that is being positive. Negative is the worst thing you can do. Messes with everything you got, messes with your health all the way around. That's for a whole another topic there, though. The last thing you got to do, which is the hardest, is you've got to get the best food you can, the best nutrition you can, not just calories, not, you'll hear something, a lot of people get annoyed by it, but pretty much if it's in a package, it's probably not the best thing in the world for you. And they'll get all over it and say, well, eating healthy is, too expensive. That is entirely not true. I mean, go get a bag of apples, go get some fruit, go get some vegetables. It's way cheaper and way more healthy for you. But, like I said, eat as best you can. So if you eat a lot of candy, eat less candy. That's a good start. All right. But the last thing that you have to do, and I mean, it's something we all have to do, is you have to supplement your diet with what's missing. Again, most people think just calories. That's so not true. And the best way I can say it is you have to give your body what's missing. And you run into a lot of stuff with people, various companies, various people talking where they want, they look at some ingredient or something like it's some magic ingredient. And it's completely wrong. I mean, they're looking at food like it's a drug. And so they'll take that a step further and let's see here. These days, turmeric is really popular. Well, turmeric's very good for you. And one of the things that I will tell people is, Troy, I'm told we're stopped.
Hold on just for a minute, Shayne. I see you moving up and down. I see your head moving.
Okay, well, maybe it was just a little glitch over there. So let's see if I can pick up where I was. Turmeric, I think, is what I started talking about. Turmeric's great for you. And if you start altering it or taking certain chemicals out of it, it becomes a potential problem. And the reason people do that is they're thinking like a drug. Drugs always, you go get a drug and the label on the back says active ingredient. Well, and then it has something else that probably says like other ingredients or inactive ingredients, something like that. Well, when you're looking at food, that's exactly the wrong way to look at it. You got to eat the whole food. That's the way it's designed. And it's very difficult to get a toxic level of any chemical in a food if you're eating the whole food. It's very easy on the other side to get toxic levels if you have some extracted ingredient. And that is one of the biggest problems we have in our entire thinking, is we think of food as either calories or medicine. And one of the best examples I got of that is like pick your nutrition store, GNC, Vitamin Shop, whatever you have in your area. And you can go and stand there for 2 minutes and just watch. People come in the door. They ask the guy at the counter, I'm looking for something because I have fill in the blank. The guy says, oh, well, you need whatever. It's some extract from something. And then they say, well, what's the dose? Just that whole thought process is crazy. It's a food. It's like asking what the right dose of carrot is. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense when you look at it that way. So that's the thought process that we have to have when we're doing all this stuff. And you got to supplement your body with what's missing. Now, take a little step sideways on this. That is exactly how, like you and I have talked from the beginning, and it was it's difficult for a lot of people to get because they're used to companies telling them that they have this magic ingredient. Now, there's crazy stuff I hear, and this is true. I heard this. Someone tried to tell me that they had the magic ingredient and they got it from the Congo, and it's protected by these albino gorillas. And the founder of this company had, I don't know, been lost in the Congo or something, and these gorillas adopted it, and that's how this guy had access to it. I am pretty certain that is actually the plot of a movie, but this guy told me that is exactly that's what happened with his company, and that's how they had this magic ingredient. That's completely not, it can't be true. Because if that's what's supposed to keep people healthy, and that's the only place on earth that you can find it, then how in the world does people not from there, have just as good of health and whatnot right there? But it's crazy what people are told. So anyways, with our company, I tell you this all the time. We don't know everything. So if we take that approach, we're constantly looking for what's missing. And we have a few things that we know that we have been missing from our diet, but we know there's more out there, which is why we continue to look, continue to search, and you'll never hear us say this is the only thing you need. Now, we might tell you if you can only afford one thing or only stand to take one pill or whatever, this might be the best one in our opinion. That generally starts at the foundation. But that's the answer to your question. What do people need to do? They need to start from the beginning, right now. Do whatever you can to get your body as healthy as it can be and prepared for whatever might come at it, whether it be coronavirus, the flu that'll be coming around the corner in a couple months, some other disease they are worried about, diabetes, dementia, heart disease, whatever it happens to be, it's the same exact answer. Exercise, get your mind right, the best food you can, and supplement your diet with whatever's missing.
Okay, yeah, and I can contest to that, guys. I mean, especially the exercise part and actually changing your diet and eating right. Even myself, I fell off the map without exercising, and Shayne stayed on me a whole lot about exercising and stuff. And one thing that I do, I think it's a group. I think you gotta work with a group of people to encourage each other. Even for myself, from the exercise standpoint, that almost every day, Dr. Shayne go work out, and I get a notification on my watch that he's just finished working out, and that motivates me to actually go work out. The nutrition standpoint of it is about 5 years ago, I got really serious about my nutrition. I was actually overweight. I was in another company. I lost a lot of weight. And actually, I partnered up with Dr. Shayne and, his dad, them. And I actually started taking their supplement line up, and I started feeling amazing. And I also changed my diet completely. I stopped eating meat. And I'm not saying everybody got to stop doing that. That was a challenge that Lisa threw out there at me, and I did it. So I haven't eaten no meat since November. But the crazy thing about it is I'm 50, guys. I feel amazing. So I take, and I'm with Shayne, I take a lot of supplements daily. But my thing of it is, what I always tell people is I'm blessed because I'm not on no kind of prescription drugs. I don't have high blood pressure, none of that. And I would rather take all natural plant-based supplements than to be taking some kind of, chemical or something and put in my body. So I encourage people to work out and stuff like that. And Dr. Shayne, why didn't you not just go on and pursue your career as being a doctor versus, doing something like this, starting your own company and actually spreading the word about plant-based products?
Troy, if you have any, surely everybody out there does, but if you have anything that you truly believe in, and I really, really believe that we are given everything we need for our bodies to run like they're designed to run. And that is not how the modern mindset is. It's, I want to do whatever I want to do, and then you give me some pill that's going to fix whatever it is that I've messed up my whole life. And that is a losing proposition right there. It's never going to work. And like I said, it was a fork in the road right there. I could either go the way I had been going, or I could take, I'm going to call it take advantage of the opportunity that was presented to me, that there's a major problem. And people today are more accepting of it than they've ever been. Before it was just like, oh, that's just a bunch of nonsense. All you need to do is, don't eat fat. I remember that when I was little. Every candy had a sticker, a little thing on it that said fat free, like that suddenly made it healthy somehow. And it was crazy to watch. And putting all that stuff together, it's going to take a lifetime, if it's even done in my lifetime, to get that through people's heads. But that's what they'll do. I have left and right that I present stuff to and tell them, say, hey, here, I got this. You ought to try it. And they're like, oh, I'm perfectly fine. I'm da-da-da. Next thing I hear, they're getting MRIs and CT scans because they got all this stuff going on. And then they're being pumped full of everything in the world. And it's hard for me to sit back and watch that and not do everything I can to try to prevent it. Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to fix everybody's problem and do everything for them. But I promise, if you give your body the foundation that it's designed to have, it's going to be way better off than if you don't. And that's why I chose this direction, because if I sat there and remained silent, I would be lying to myself for the rest of my life.
Cool. Well, Dr. Shayne, you know how I feel about network marketing. I mean, I love the industry. I mean, it completely changed my life, especially from the self development standpoint. You know, you guys, you don't heard my story if you've been following me for the past 14 days, now 15, 16, about how I was real shy, kind of struggled in school and stuff like that. But my question to you, Dr. Shayne, you know, you run other companies, you run other businesses and stuff. You're very successful on that side. And now you got this product line right here with this company. Why did you choose network marketing? Why you didn't just plug it into what you guys already had going on?
Like you said, Troy, I do have multiple businesses, and we try to select the best model for that particular product or solution, is what I'd rather call it. And with something like nutrition, especially something that's a new concept. And what I mean by that is something that nobody's ever really heard of before. The only way you're going to get that out there is by word of mouth, people talking about it. And that's in contrast to a lot of the stuff you see out there, like a lot of stuff, a lot. You can buy it from almost anywhere. I mean, you can buy a lot of it from the gas station now. So there's no real reason to sell it through network marketing or relationship marketing, as I like to call it, because everybody already knows about it. And then you just get into the whole, I'm going to call it the rat race of trying to say, oh, well, mine's better because of this, and mine's better because of that. That's a losing thing right there. It's so much easier when you have the only one. But it's harder when people don't know about it. So that's why we chose this model. We need people who believe telling other people what they believe, and that's the best way to get it out there. And then in some time, let's say 10, 15 years, people will start copying, and you go into GNC, and all of a sudden there'll be a section, about apoptosis or whatever the newest thing is that happens to be. But that's just how this industry works. Everybody walks in there like everything's the magic cure for whatever, and that's just not how it is. It's processes.
Cool, because I know, you and your team and your dad, you guys gonna brought products to the marketplaces, done hundreds of millions of dollars in sales. Your dad actually brought a product to the marketplace a long time ago that, even sold billions of dollars worth of product. And that was one of my main questions, why did y'all choose, network marketing? And you basically answered that. But what makes this, I know this product line, it supports something that's called apoptosis. What makes it so special? Makes it so special? And could you tell us a little bit more about this apoptosis? Because a lot of people don't understand it.
Absolutely. So here's the thing. You hit on it a little bit, and I kind of did too. Take advantage of that opportunity. You got somebody like Dad, and the first major thing that in nutrition that Dad did is he found out what works in aloe. Prior to when he did that, there was no packaged or bottled or whatever you want to call it aloes that still worked. And so to put that in simple terms, because of his work, you go to the store or walk down, the pharmacy, whatever, and everything on there that says contains aloe is a result of his work. And that was revolutionary. And aloe is one of the biggest industries that there is right now. And it falls into what I was saying a minute ago, though. Most people have heard of aloe. And all the patents and all that stuff is expired. So there's zero reason for anyone to charge a ridiculous amount for aloe. Okay? I mean, aloe is good stuff. It's great stuff. You get good quality aloe, you're good to go. And it's the same thing with a lot of, I call them old technologies that are proven to work, like another one's multivitamin. I mean, there's no reason for someone to go out there and charge a ridiculous amount for a multivitamin. I'm not saying they're all the same, but what I am saying is there's nothing that special to make a multivitamin cost $100. And I know people who pay 150, 160 bucks a month for that stuff because someone's telling them a big old long tail. So all of those things, like I just said, they have their purpose in the body. And it's very, very, very remarkable how people's bodies respond when they get the stuff that they were missing before. And so the easiest way to look at like aloe, I mean, what it does is it helps with cell-to-cell communication. I mean, your cells have to talk just like you and me are talking right now. If I was speaking a different language from you, this conversation wouldn't work very well. Or if perhaps like Zoom and this program and Facebook decided to not work for us for like the first 45 minutes of this attempt, it would be the same thing.
Yep.
So look at that, like throwing some out. You finally threw some aloe on, what's this program called? Be Live. You threw some aloe on
Yep.
it. Now we can communicate. Okay, we're good to go. So then you ask about apoptosis. Well, that is, again, it's the next thing. It's the new thing that has come up. And I mean, when I was in school, Dad would call me every now and then and just ask questions. Hey, have you heard about this? Have you heard about that? What do you think about this? And I remember when he asked me about apoptosis, I was walking across a parking lot, and I could take you right back where it was today because it stuck out at me. He said, hey, what do you think about apoptosis? And I said, I don't think much about it at all. And he started laughing. He goes, what do you mean? Because, usually I'd had something to say. And he goes, well, I said, well, I've looked in my textbook because there was one sentence that had that word in it. And it was actually, the day before that I had seen that. And he said, what do you mean one sentence? I said, there's a whole big old chapter on this other concept. And then at the end of that chapter, it had one sentence on this one. And he just said, well, what that tells you, if you're like Dad, a researcher type, that means they don't know anything about it. Well, stuff had started coming out at that time, and that's, let's say, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago now. And it became more and more evident that it was a system that's designed to go in everybody's body normally, that's supported by various nutritional components. And if you don't have those components, it can't happen, or can't happen how it's supposed to. And what that system does, it has a fancy name called apoptosis. And here's the best way to do it. I call it the 3 R's. First thing your cells are designed to do is repair themselves, because your cells, the smallest thing you're made up of, in case you guys don't know what that is, they're constantly making stuff, doing stuff, just making your body do what it does. And if those cells are doing that much stuff, they're going to break. I mean, just look at your car. You drive your car all the time, the thing breaks. I mean, one of my friends was supposed to come pick up something from me yesterday, and he calls me up, tells me his new motorcycle he just bought broke. And he's going to fix it, right? Well, that's what our cells do. They break. First thing they got to do is they got to repair themselves. And then if they cannot repair themselves, the worst thing you can have happen is having a cell that's not working right, keep going, keep reproducing, and causing all sorts of other problems. You want it to replace itself. So it goes away, called programmed cell death for you sciencey kind of people. It goes away and it's replaced by a new healthy cell. And then that way, that's the second R, replaced. So our bodies can be rejuvenated. And that's what apoptosis is. It's a brand, it's been in our bodies since the dawn of time and every animal out there. But if you're not giving your body everything it needs to, execute that process, then it can't do it. And so it just makes sense. So if you get your cells to where they're repairing themselves when they need to, replacing themselves when they can't, your cells are working fine. Then throw some aloe in there. Now those cells need to communicate with each other. Now they can communicate. Then you throw some vitamins in there. Well, the vitamins are necessary for various processes, but like I say, that's a whole nother concept. But that's what our newest, I'm going to call it Dad's technology or discovery is. And it's a big one. It's huge. I mean, your cells are the foundation of your body. If they can't work right, what's the point of doing everything else?
Cool. And when I look at it, like from a standpoint of network marketing, Dr. Shayne, me and Lisa have been around the industry for about 17 years. And one of the things that I learned a long time ago is that, a person that solves a big problem or bring up something brand new to the marketplace, that's like big opportunity. Most of the team, all of the team use Aroga products, even myself. I've been actually using them for a long period of time. And I feel amazing. I mean, I really, truly do feel like I'm in my 30s. I take basically everything. But that said, if a person was just kind of like on a budget and with what's going on right now, what would you highly suggest that they take to help them boost their immune system, along with the exercise and everything else? And I truly believe mindset has a big factor in being healthy. I think if you wake up in the morning and you're like, man, this is going to be a bad day, or I feel bad, or if you go to the doctor and you get some bad news and he tell you got high blood pressure and you be like, man, I'm fit to die, I got high blood pressure, you make the situation a whole lot worse. You know what I'm saying? So what would you suggest that people take like right now today, if they was on a budget and they needed something to help boost their immune system along with everything else?
And if the best thing that you can take, because I already told you this, it's the same answer, those three things to whatever question you ask, whether it's, coronavirus or whatever, and get your body as best you can. I believe very strongly that you got to have your cells right. So if you're taking that approach, the best thing you can take is one of the products that we make, and it's called Pathways Core. And it supports apoptosis, and we call it core because it's the core, the foundation. And if you're only going to take one thing, that's what I would take.
Cool. Well, guys, that's it. We're gonna wrap this up. But if you guys got any questions about, what Dr. Shayne offer, you can actually message me or shoot him a message. Dr. Shayne, I want to really thank you for your time, man. The technology was crazy this morning, but we got it done. And if you want to close it out with anything, man, just close it out. I really appreciate your time, though, for real.
Yeah, man, Troy, I appreciate you, and I'm glad you worked through this and put this together. And the other thing I want to say, because it's the most important thing, is what you've been doing the last 15 or so days, you and a couple of your buddies, Tyler. I know he did it every day, but that's the core of network marketing. Network marketing is like my brother likes to say, it's just doing life. It's how people do. They talk to each other. So if you got something to say, get on a Facebook Live or a, whatever, Snaptagram Live, whatever else is out there, and just tell people what you got to say. They'll listen to you, the ones that want to hear it, great. But don't be quiet. Don't say anything. It's the worst thing you can do.
So you got to spread the word.
That's right.
Sharing is caring. We care about people.
That's right, man.
All right, man. Y'all have a good day. God bless. Thank you guys for tuning in. And I'll talk to you later, Dr. Shayne.
Thank you, sir. Have a good one.
You too.